We are talking today about how to start school without complaining. I mean, there is no complaining in homeschooling, is there? Don't you wish sometimes you could just be like Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own and be like, "Hey, are you complaining? There's no complaining in homeschooling. Come on." I mean, I know I've been there at times when my son's never been to school and he's 16 now, but there have been times when he's been like, I don't know, like I don't really want to do that right now. And I'm like, don't you know what your blessings are right now? This is homeschooling. You're missing out on so many things. Missing out, I say missing out, but really he's missing so many things that he doesn't have to do, like getting up early and getting to class and having everything in your backpack. And they don't have lockers anymore, but I'm dating myself, but the walking all over campus, the bullying, the whatever the case, he's missed, the homework, the all this stuff. And man, he should be super grateful, right? But our kids are kids and they're going to complain about stuff sometimes, that's for sure. But we don't have to have them complaining all the time. And if love of learning is high, then what happens is that we don't get that. Okay. And I'm going to talk to you about that today a little bit because we have a special event coming up next Tuesday. We have the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass, and it's a free event. And I only do this once every few months. So I want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to save your spot for that because it is coming up next Tuesday on August 12th at 12 p.m. PST. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern. And I want you to save your spot for right now because there is some super exciting information that's going to really help you eliminate that complaining that we don't want when school starts. And I'm going to talk more about that today, but you can find the link in the show notes. So before I get into everything, I just want to make sure that wherever you're listening or watching this, you will be able to save your spot for that. Okay. This is exciting because we don't want complaining. Complaining, what does that get us? Well, it gets us a stress. It gets us, we're frustrated, they're frustrated, and we are losing sleep because we're like, man, it should be fun. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I know I've felt that before, and it was really, really hard. I lost a lot of sleep because I watched my son's love of learning drop when I was pushing and there was a lot of complaining, and I was checking boxes of school. And I was just going through the motions of school instead of focusing on lifelong love of learning and inspiring love of learning and creating a culture around that. And once I figured out that culture, I really had to develop it, not just get it high and then whoops, it's gone again. It's so fleeting sometimes, and we can really get off track easily, especially with all the pressure and what I call the educational should on your shoulder. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a culture that's really supporting high level of love of learning. Now, I know you guys have been there. You started school before and you've been homeschooling, or maybe you're just starting homeschooling and you're like, okay, I got all my books, I got all my everything, and I got a little desk. Maybe you even set up a schoolroom. You guys, I have a whole podcast episode on that. You guys need to watch that. But not that I'm completely against it. We gotta have a place to put our stuff, but there is a way to do it in a way that helps support high level of love of learning. So, and sending the right message. Anyways, but what I want you to do is to start this school year in a way it isn't okay, now we're doing school. That's what I did. I said, it's first grade. We're going to do school. Actually, what I was telling myself is, we're going to really learn now. And I had all my textbooks, I had all my workbooks, I had a little desk. It was a little Tykes desk, you guys. It was so cute. It was adorable. And a little stool, and my son was 6 years old, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. We're going to just do some real learning now, and we're going to get off. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm a teacher. I wasn't an elementary teacher. I was a high school teacher, so I had a lot of anxiety about teaching somebody how to read. But That was something I was really excited about because I thought for sure this is going to be an awesome experience and we're going to have lots of fun and we're going to be learning together and we're going to be discovering things together. Little did I know that when we got into it, we're doing a little bit of we did about 10, 15 minutes, and my son was like, "Okay, I've got it done." So he gets up and starts to walk away, and if you've listened to me before, you've heard this story. And I call him back because I'm like, "Buddy, we're not done yet. We have more to do." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know." I mean, he's 6. He likes to please. So he's like, "Okay." So he sits down, he does about 10 more minutes. And we're in this workbook and I'm like, "This is cool. Look at this." Da da da. And we do a little more and then he's done. I mean, he's done and he gets up and starts to walk away again. And I'm like, "Buddy, wait, we haven't done math yet. Look at this math. Isn't this awesome? Look at this is so cool. Oh my gosh, look at that." And I'm telling him all these awesome things because we like to cheerlead as parents. Of course, we have to sometimes. And as teachers, we do too. And so he's begrudgingly sits down and he does about maybe 5, 10 more minutes. And then he's really, really done. Like, done, done. Like, I know I'm not getting him back done. And I'm thinking to myself, we've only done like 30, 35 minutes of work and we've missed some subjects and I'm frustrated. How are we ever going to learn what he needs to learn if we're only doing like 30 minutes a day? And we're both frustrated. And then tomorrow we repeat the same thing, except now he sees it kinda coming, and I can get a little less out of him, and every day I can get a little less, and a little less, and a little less, and a little less. And then we're both so frustrated, we're anticipating the frustration that's to come, so it's even worse, and now we're both crying. And I was heartbroken because I watched my son's love of learning drop. And I knew that this is exactly what I was trying to inspire in my high school students when I was teaching in the classroom. And I'm sitting here and I can't even do it to my 6-year-old. And I'm like, there is something very wrong here. Obviously, I've messed up because he's only 6. He's never been to school. It- it's not his fault. And I told my husband, I need to figure out what we're doing wrong. Well, I got some books and I mentored through books and I didn't have anybody like me back then, but I did realize that what I was doing was I was box checking. I was going through the motions of school and thinking that I was going to feel good about that because we're accomplishing something and what we're moving forward, right? So we're learning, right? But we weren't learning because he didn't want to, and I couldn't get hardly anything out of him. And so I had to redirect. And I realized that what I needed to do was inspire that love of learning. I'm like, this is what I was trying to do in the classroom the whole time. All I was trying to do in the classroom was to re-inspire that love of learning for them. And I knew that if I could re inspire that love of learning for those high school students, that maybe someday, and I taught English, so I was thinking maybe someday they might read something, they might write something, they might think about something and learn something that's important to them or somebody else or gives them a new opportunity. But I could create learners that were excited about learning again if they had just a little spark. Because, man, by the time they get to high school, it is not love of learning is low. It's very low. Even if they get good grades, they're just good box checkers. They're not good. They're not really curious and what about this and seeking out learning. They're just checking boxes a lot of times. There's very few kids that get through the school system, any school system, with actually love of learning intact. And so my job, I felt like, was to inspire that in them. Well, here I was for my own child. I was ruining it, and I almost killed it. And it was so hard for me to really watch him do that. But I realized, man, I need to re-inspire that. And then I need to keep that love of learning high because that's what develops lifelong learners. That was my goal, to develop lifelong learner and a leader in the world that was passionate to do whatever he wanted to do in the world that would make a difference and maybe serve people, and for him it was animals, serving animals. And so that really became our whole goal, was to refocus that. Now, something I want to tell you is that this is a mistake a lot of homeschool parents make when they first start homeschooling, or they're first starting the school year, is they jump in, we're going to really learn. I got all this new stuff, and maybe the kids are excited about it too for a while, for like the first week or the first few days. And then after that, it kind of wanes. And then you end up in the same position that I was in. I talk to parents all the time, all over the world, and they tell me the same exact thing. And that love of learning drops. It really, really stresses everyone out. Everybody's upset. Now we've got this idea of what learning looks like, and it's not fun, it's not exciting, it's not interesting, and that's really hard to overcome if we're still just trying to push through and plow through and check those boxes. We have to think about, how do we ease into the school year to make it more interesting, to make it more fun, to make it more inspired in love of learning. And that's the key, you guys. That's the key, to inspire love of learning. And when we do that and we keep that high, now we're having fun. Now we have routines. Now we have a great homeschool day. And we can, if we can keep that consistent, now we have a homeschool journey that we were really looking for. You guys, this is so amazing. So, what I want to do is I want to show you how you can ease into the school year without complaints. Okay. So, we're going to talk about a few different things today on how you can do that. And the first thing is, one, you can start with read alouds. Okay. Start with family read alouds. That's always a winner. Even if your kids are not used to that, trust me, I used to read aloud to my high school in school students, and they loved it. Your kids might think it's kiddie time, that's kid stuff, but if you start doing it at the dinner table, you start doing it when you got a captive audience, you know what I'm saying? Then they actually get into what you're reading, and you allow them to kind of be interested, choose, let them choose the book. And then they're starting to get a routine down now. And now inspiration is flowing. You're having discussions. I teach all of this all the time. It's so powerful, you guys. This is so amazing when you do read alouds that can really, really inspire love of learning. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to sit there for an hour. I'm talking like you could even start with Shel Silverstein and go from there. Okay. And that's, so read alouds. Very, very, very important. The second thing I want you to do is to just start adding in like a learning situation. So adding in a field trip, adding in some kind of let's go do our read aloud in the park. Let's go to a museum. Let's do that kind of stuff. If you're not already doing that, start building in routines where stuff is kind of fun. Play games, play board games. There's so many board games and card games that are math oriented. I mean, pretty much all of them have some mathematical thinking and logic and strategy. So that's really great to do together. Ease into that. And then when you've kind of flowing, let's drop, one thing here that you really wanted to do together. Maybe it's a math thing, maybe it's it's reading a different book and doing some formal curriculum if you want to do that too. But you don't have to do that right away. Okay, you're still learning, by the way. Did you know that? You're still learning. It just doesn't look like school, and it doesn't have to. You can ease into that and you build up. Okay. These are some of the things that we're going to talk about in the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Learners Masterclass, but we're also going to talk about how to really structure that. And we're going to talk about how to like choosing curriculum and things like that too, because that's really important because you don't have it's important to know what curriculum is and then how to choose one that's right for your family. So you don't waste time and money because that would be annoying. It happens all the time where parents choose a curriculum because they think it's awesome and because they all look awesome on the on the website. They really do. And it might be awesome, but it might not be a right fit for your family or somebody else gave you a recommendation. Oh, we love this. Well, maybe it's not the way your kids learn or something like that, okay? So, it doesn't fit in your schedule or whatever the case. So, we want to make sure that we're easing into it and that you're kind of just thinking about how do I build in another thing or where do I want to put, let's try this and see what happens. And it's okay to backtrack. It's totally fine. And take an assessment of what your love of learning is as you go. And by the way, in the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass, if you show up live, I am going to be giving away a love of learning assessment that you can use for that. So you want to keep an assessment. Is it getting higher? Is it staying the same? Is it getting lower? It's really never staying the same. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. It's usually either raising or it's lowering. I mean, that's with life, right? We're either gaining weight or we're losing weight. We're either getting stronger or we're not, we're getting weaker. So it's really, really important for you to keep abreast of that and know where your love of learning is as you go all the time. So you can make sure that you're gaining and then being able to keep it higher, 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 okay? Because then we're having fun, we're relearning what learning looks like. We're relearning what learning looks like. And we're also really thinking about how to have new experiences with learning. Does that make sense, you guys? I'm telling you, when you get that right and you can ease in and you really can keep love of learning high, you are going to be amazed. It's going to be so exciting because your kids are going to start asking you, "Hey, can we learn this? Hey, can we read this book? I want to do this project. What about this over here? This doesn't make sense. Can you explain it to me?" I'm telling you, or the more likely in our household, we have that a lot going on. And then we have my son now who's 16 coming out and going, "Oh, let me tell you how this works. And let me tell you how that works." And he was explaining to me GPU clusters last night, which I'm like, that kind of sounds like it's like a weapon or something. But he's being silly. But he was like, "No, no, it's this data centers, and this is the GPU thing," because he's all into the technology. So he's explaining to me how it works, and I don't have any idea. I don't even have an interest in it. So, I mean, other than the fact of how it's affecting our world, but it's great to have him explain to me chemistry and the periodic table and how the elements, oh, that element is really close to this element and this one actually has more radioactive than this one does and this has, another hydrogen. So I'm like, how really? Like that's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. It's so fun. It's so fun, you guys. You can have a year that looks like that. And it all starts with inspiring that love of learning and keeping it high. Okay. And we're going to talk about that in the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass coming up this Tuesday. So I recommend that you get on the show notes or wherever you're watching or listening to this, register for that. And then let's have a conversation about where you're starting from. I'm always available. Reach out to me, DM me, and just really let's have a conversation about where your situation is, where love of learning's at, what you plan on doing, what your routines are. And I can tell you that it's so enlightening when you actually talk that out and we can see where the tripping points are. It's so easy to turn that around once we can reset from those things. I want you guys to have the best year ever. This is good. There's so much awesomeness and so many places to learn in the world, and we can take advantage of all of them and really keep our kids' natural curiosity high for the whole year long. So I hope to see you in the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass coming this Tuesday, and I hope to chat with you. I live for this. So I love chatting with parents, and I love just figuring out what's going on and what you want and what challenges you're facing and just it lights me on fire. I love it. So I hope to talk to you soon, and we'll see you next week in the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass.